do you want me to call you Jennifer or Mrs. Jackson?
Oh God, no, Jennifer.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Jennifer. So the purpose of me interviewing you today is to gain knowledge from another person's perspective regarding a child with a disability. And I want to understand the steps a family takes when a child is diagnosed and how your lifestyle is altered. And most importantly, I'd like to hear from you what and who is most helpful and why, to provide me with a better understanding and insight of how I can be more helpful for another family who has a disability, because I'm studying to be a special education teacher,
Okay.
maybe in the future.
Okay.
And so, okay, in 3 words, how would you describe your son versus son?
Playful. Smart. Fun-loving.
Fun-loving. And what disability is Versailles diagnosed with?
He's profoundly deaf.
And how did you find this out? Did you notice symptoms or?
No, he was misdiagnosed we started questioning something at 6 months, and he was misdiagnosed until he was 2 years because the pediatrician kept blowing it off, saying that, second child syndrome, don't worry about it. He's got older siblings in the house, so noise issues, don't worry about it. All this kind of stuff. But when he was 14 months old, I started banging pots and pans behind his head and he didn't turn around. And so then I called the pediatrician back and said something's not right. And so then he went over and did an EEG. It was an EEG. No, you're the EEG. He did a ABR where they put the brainwaves to stimulate the brainwaves on the scalp, and it came back negative. And so then that's when the pediatrician basically said he was dumbfounded. He thought he had fluid in his ears, maybe at the worst, and then referred me to house ear, which is where he went over there and got hearing aids on for 6 months, because they had to do a 6-month trial, and then at 2 years he was able to be implanted with the cochlear implant.
How old was he when he did the 6 month? Like how long was
he was 14. He was about 14 months old when he was diagnosed, and then by 16 months he was fitted with hearing aids, and then by 2 years he was implanted with the cochlear implant.
And how old is he now?
Now he's 8.
What grade is he?
He's actually going into 4th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So is he in like a regular education class?
He's in a DHH class. So it's like they have a regular ed teacher, they have a DHH sign teacher, and then they also have an interpreter. But that school that he goes to only goes to 5th grade. So after 5th grade, either he has to go to Venato, which is in Irvine, which is it's also a TC program, which is a total communication program, but it's more focused on really, are you having fun? Really deaf and hard of hearing, to where Versailles is not. I mean, when he's in class, he has it as a backup to look at an interpreter, but when he lives at the house, he's in regular baseball teams. He doesn't hang out with just friends that have special needs. It's like he's more or less, when he goes to school, it's an amplification for him, but when he's at home or out in public, you would never think that he has a disability, if you will.
So have you had to meet, when he starts with a new teacher, do you have a meeting before he starts?
No, because that's the benefit of being in a school that he's in right now, because it's set up for kids with special needs. It's not just deaf and hard of hearing. They have kids that are autistic, they have kids that have reading disabilities, learning disabilities, but they already have programs that are set up for them. So if you were just to go to your every average day public elementary school, if you will, they don't have all those programs set up.
Yeah.
They may have a speech therapist, or they may have, an audiologist on call, but they won't have programs set up. And that's why he is at Crown Valley right now, because it does give him that, accessibility of being able to have multiple programs at his fingertips.
So were you a big part of setting up that program? Or?
Actually, no. When he came into it, they have a program called a PEEPS program. So that's for kids that are from birth until 3 years old, that helps parents kind of waver the way through if your child does need some kind of amplification help with their hearing, direction as to where they're supposed to go. But with him, they already had the program pretty much set up, and it's just kind of took itself from there. Now where the problem is between the 5th and 6th grade, there's no program set up. So if your child's still in dire need of some kind of exactly, thank you. Okay, thank you. If they're still in need of assistance, then it's kind of what do I do now? And then they send him just to their local junior high school, which I'm like, well, heck, I'm going to send him to his local, or his homeschool junior high if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to just keep plopping him around everywhere. Because Venato, if he does go to Venato, that's not until 7th and 8th grade.
So do they inform you, like in their program, I'm guessing they set up like learning goals for him maybe?
It's called an IEP.
Yeah. Do they contact you to like tell you of his progress, or do you have like any meetings?
You can request, because it's a state regulated situation. If at any time I feel that he's falling behind on his goals, I can call a meeting and say I need a meeting right now. More or less what they do on the IEP is they set it to where they're like, okay, in 3 months he should have this much progress, in 6 months he should have this much progress. And when they do his regular, report cards and stuff that come home, like their quarterlies, they also have that in there letting you know if he's progressing toward meeting it, falling behind, and then you adjust you kind of adjust how you need to, depending on what's needed to get those goals. They're pretty, I mean, he's only had maybe 1 or 2 times that it came back where it was like, why isn't he meeting this? Yeah. And it could be anything from, what the cochlear implant is called a map. They map him, and that's like how he hears properly through his CI. If his map's off and he's not getting full amplification or full, not understanding whatever, because he's still young, he's not going to tell you, Mom, I'm not getting the blah 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 blah. He's just going to roll with the punches. So, I mean, there's only been a couple times that he's had to be fine-tuned on his IEP, but for the most part, they get it right.